Hello there, Qckslvrslash here, and today we have a video courtesy of Silvamord in the Tier 7 German battleship, the Scharnhorst. And much like her tech tree counterpart, she can be a bit of a beast, and the main difference for anyone who isn't aware is the Scharnhorst gets the historically accurate guns, and with that, a bit more flexibility. And ultimately, I think this is the better ship, just because I tend towards cruisers and destroyers a lot, so having a higher rate of fire, for me, works out better. And while these may not penetrate quite like her sister ship's guns, because they are a smaller caliber, you just have to pick and choose your targets, and if you get anything side on in this game, pretty much any gun's going to get into that citadel if you place the shots right. Now, there's obvious exceptions to that, but I mean, look at destroyers. Get a cruiser side on, you'll start punching citadels in if you're close enough. And they're playing on Estuary, which is a decent map for the ship and a really good lineup. There are CVs here, but they're lower tier, meaning the carriers have to watch out. I find both the Gneisenau and Scharnhorst always seem to catch me off guard the times I do play CV, which is admittedly very little why I get caught off guard by them. They can just chew through fighter squadrons. So if you end up on a flank alone and a CV thinks they're going to get an easy kill on you, if you've got the build to do your kind of secondaries and everything else like a lot of the German line, your AA's a pretty decent monster to have to deal with. Now off the start, obviously you can see most of Silvamord's team has gone over to the other flank, but he has along with him a pair of destroyers and a Miyoko, and really this is in a way an ideal situation. If you're talking about sending the bulk of your team in one direction and then just kind of having a holding force on the other flank, a couple DDs, one cruiser, one battleship should be all you need to just slow the enemy down. And that assumes the enemy team comes around this way, but looking at the map, once again, a lot of their team seems to have gone over to that eastern flank. And are we about to get an obligatory exploding Nuremberg is the question. Sign on, 13 kilometers, the shells are about to go out, and we will see. Yep. Pretty much. That's almost the entire Nuremberg. And that's just one of the reasons I really struggled with that ship. The Königsberg was and is one of my best ships. The Nuremberg, probably one of my worst. And it doesn't make sense because they're pretty much the same ship, but I think it's that tier gap. You can see this enemy Anshan trying to run up and get into the flank, and it's not going well for them. The friendly Fusion has chased them down. Silvamord lands a great hit there, 4,000 damage onto a DD. Never going to complain about that. And these triple-barreled turrets just, they give you that shell density that allows you to hit smaller targets. And I think that's why a lot of the twin-barrel battleships, despite having technically better accuracy specs, can feel a lot less accurate. But Scharn, she's got 9 guns, and that's all you need. This Anshan, she's about to be a goner. Picks up his first kill, gets rid of one of the dangerous ships on this flank, because a destroyer can do a lot of work if it's left to just throw torps at things. And now it looks like Silvamord is turning around, because you can spend all day on a flank. If there's no one to fight, you're not doing a lot of good for your team. And that's just one of those things. You have to recognize, looking at the map, that, hey, there's not a lot for me to fight here. I need to find a place where I can get my guns shooting at something. Obviously, there is an enemy Scharnhorst down near their cap. Can throw some longer range shells, but basically a decision has to get made. Do you go rush through the middle perhaps, try to get in their cap and put a lot of back pressure on them, forcing a lot of them to turn around, could be a really good play. That relies on your team taking advantage of it. Other option is move in with where your team is, where they're getting pushed, and be that ship facing the other way so that when that enemy team comes running around kind of this corner where the Fubuki is, they're looking at a bow-on battleship that they're going to have a hard time beating away. And looking at where Silvermord's going, looks like that's the decision. Throws a set of torpedoes at the edge of land because why not? If you're going to luck chuck it, find the edge of an island and just throw them. It works surprisingly well. People think they're getting smart, stealthily following the coast of a little island, going to get up in close, and then all of a sudden torpedoes meet them. Enemy kamikaze, 2 overpens, so a couple thousand damage there, and here are some enemy aircraft. And hopefully this will demonstrate just how strong the AA on this battleship is. Once again, they are a tier lower, so you expect them to kind of disappear, and that's exactly what's happening. Out of those fighter squadrons, took down more than a full squadron, really hindering that enemy carrier's ability to push, which you can see it looks like he was charging in at the Independence or just trying to get them lit. But now the Independence, with 1 fighter squadron, has no problem eliminating those 2 remaining fighters. So far, we're 7 minutes in. Silvermord's up to 31,000 damage. Got a hidden Mayhem doing what DDs do well, shooting out of the smoke, and Silvermord makes him pay. That's something you have to be careful about. When you've got a rate of fire, if you're firing all the time and a ship's looking your way, they might know what they're doing, and Silvermord, whether it's by luck or skill, gets rid of another destroyer, leaving only 2 on the enemy team remaining. And, well, one of them spotted. And will probably remain that way just because friendly fighters. Unfortunately, not such a great hit there. 1 overpen, and the Fusion is being forced to use the smoke. And this is not a fun place to be in. You know you've got a destroyer there. Only a couple kilometers away. If you're 1 tier higher in the Bismarck, you'd have a Hydro. You could charge in there and basically force the destroyer out. But for now, Silvermord decides, let him be. There's a set of fighters over him, so any torpedoes he launches are going to immediately be spotted. And you don't want to throw yourself away just blindly running into a smoke. There's the friendly Miyoko there. It may have its hydroacoustic search. Don't know how it's loaded out, but it could be what goes. And unfortunately, that was a close one. Turned away, but he would have eaten those if they had just a tiny more range. Luckily for Silvermord, they don't. And, well, time to focus on the next target. Akatsuki's about to come around the corner close range. I'd personally be locking onto him with those secondaries. The main guns are ready. And here we go. It's time to make a destroyer really regret their life. And, you know, one of the strengths of this line is these secondaries, and they pick up a kill. Silvermord's second of the game, and never going to complain about a kill where you didn't really have to do anything. Ooh. And sorry, that was not Silvermord's second of the game, that was the 3rd. And for a second there, I thought Silvermord team killed that ally by bumping into him. It doesn't look like that's how it worked out. But my god, would that be a crappy way to hurt a good game. Like to see your kill total disappear by 1 because you got your lines crossed with an ally and sailed straight into them. with nothing else to shoot at, it's time to get rid of this destroyer. And, well, the secondaries got rid of the last one. How will this one perish? Great hit there, 5,500 damage, and the secondaries getting a second kill for this game. Those gunners must be trying to earn their pay this month. And things are looking pretty good. Some friendly ships have pushed down into that enemy cap. You can see the Independence has not been sitting still. She's worked her way down into the west, really just keeping friendly fleet between her and the enemies. And there appears to be no more threat to the friendly cap, which means time to get moving. You can sit and wait, or you can be proactive, read the map, and kind of guess what's going on. And if I had to guess, I'd say, well, now it's spotted, but the Belfast was last pointed south, so she's probably working back towards her fleet. Colorado was pointed up north. I'm kind of expecting the Colorado to have come up around to this island and be working in somewhere in here, perhaps. We'll find out pretty quickly, because if this Fushun goes into this gap, they're going to get a good line of sight here, hopefully spot the Colorado. But in the meantime, got a side-on cruiser 10 kilometers away, just overleads slightly, washes her forecastle, and, well, with these guns, 6 seconds from now, gonna have another attempt. And that's just one of those things about the Scharnhorst that makes her so much fun to play, is, you know, just that little bit faster reload. And there's a number of battleships in the game now where that's the case, and they can be more enjoyable because you don't feel as beat up by RNG when things don't work out. When you've got that full 30-second reload, it can really feel crappy when you end up basically a perfect shot, but the shells just spread out and don't quite hit the target. But that's not going to happen at 5.5 kilometers. 4,000 damage there, a couple torpedoes looking to connect with the Belfast there, and Silvermord has a set of their own in the water. Straight into the smoke. Will they connect is the question. Looking at where those friendly shells just landed, they're pretty close to where that Belfast was. Unfortunately, they all appear to have missed. And now it's going to be probably a 2-on-1, and unfortunately the Belfast is using radar, I'm guessing, to figure out where Silvermord is. And that's going to give this Colorado a bit of a heads up about what's coming around the corner, and can really help your team out. There's so many situations where you're using a radar or hydro to just figure out where an enemy is, so you have that little bit of intel and can position better for when they come around. And if I had to guess, yep, the Colorado is ready for a fight here. The secondary is starting, and really for Silvermord, the best thing they can do here is just get past the Colorado. You've got torpedoes, they don't. Just keep getting close. Bow in, tank as much damage, and get to a range where that Colorado can't do anything to dodge your torps. That is the handy weapon when you get into a close-in brawl with another battleship. As for where to be shooting, I'd still be using AP here, and I would just be aiming right at that superstructure. The shells will easily penetrate in, and you'll get some good damage. The torpedoes are off, full broadside, you can see, a little bit higher into the superstructure, nice 4,000 damage hit, but the torps are really going to be what lay the damage on, and the best part is there was the flood. Which means if Silvermord chooses, they can just continue the turn, get the port set of torps into the water, and probably end this fight here and now. And that's exactly what they are going to do. And I feel bad for this Colorado, because short of slamming on the brakes, not a lot can be done. Fish are in the water, and I mean, you can see the Colorado's doing everything it can. It looks to have the rudder right over, slamming the brakes on. They all connect. Well, as many as necessary, and Silvermord picks up their Kraken up to 120,000 damage. And, well, now it's time to deal with that Belfast. And you can see, he's just looking into that smoke, waiting for the Belfast to shoot. Unfortunately, the Colorado dead, Silvermore's no longer detected, giving the Belfast no reason to be firing his guns. But you can see, looking at his last known position, he was pretty much perfectly broadside on. And combining that kind of last known position with where you see the gunfire coming from, especially when someone just disappeared into a smoke, is really the start of how to wipe someone out when they just choose to sit like that. If you're wanting to practice, just go into a training room and work with each other, pop smokes, and just take turns shooting at each other to learn kind of where you see shells appear in relation to where the ship is in a smoke. Now the Belfast, I think, feeling that increased pressure, decided, no, it's time for me to run. I sit here, I'm dead, and gets lucky there. One over penetration. Hopefully this rear turret does a little better. Otherwise, we might just have to put the secondary gunners into those main guns. But with that last volley, Silvermore did pick up the high caliber to go with that Confederate, and, well, I had to say it, and it's the ones who did it. The secondary is getting a third kill. They too strong, perhaps? No, I'm not going to start that conversation. It's just a fun build to have, and when you've got ships on 60 health or something, just letting the secondaries finish them off is always a great feeling. But this battle is definitely a close one. 3 ships aside, and I haven't seen any strike packages out of the Independence in a while, which makes me think she's run out of them. And when you look at what is left, got a Scharnhorst, got the Hood, and somewhere the enemy carrier, I almost feel like the Indy probably, oh no, there are still a couple bombers, but she's going to have a really hard time getting any kind of drop onto that Scharn. And with the friendly cruiser dying, it really all comes down to Silvermore. He's got to get a kill. The enemy Scharnhorst, you can see, is nosed in it, and this is one place late game where having a carrier that has planes is vital, because I'm pretty sure while the Indy just ran out of bombers, I don't think the enemy carrier has anything at all. Silvermore himself has shot down 12 of those planes. I can guarantee you the Independence has eaten through a number of them. And, well, we're about to see a brawl of Scharnhorsts. And these are fun battles, and you can see Silvermore opening up to just get a full broadside. I think wanting to end it all in one go, unfortunately, probably would have, but fired just a second early. Those rear turrets shooting straight into the land. So, while the main guns reload, secondaries, time to do your work. Time is running out too. Down to a minute and a half. Now, a kill here will pretty much bring the scores even. And all Silvermore has to do now is get into that enemy cap. The second he's in it, even if he's not capturing it, he prevents it from ticking up. Meaning, the 3 points they are behind, well, you can quickly jump 3 points ahead, and this Hood is just asking to get hurt. There it is, just shy of 12,000 damage. And if I were Silvermore here, I'd just be staying bow in, present as much of your armor as possible. Don't give the Hood any chance at killing you, because with 52 seconds left, there's nothing the Hood can really do. And there it is. So the enemy team's cap points have stopped. Time to use that repair party, and just tick by tick, Silvermore's team is going to wind up on top, and they're going to win it. And it's been a great game for Silvermore. Up to 173,000 damage, 7 kills. Pretty much every one of the heroic achievements you could ask for out of this, and more importantly, him surviving to the end has won this game for the team. And the Hood, she's not giving up. That was a big hit. I didn't see where it went in, but either way, this match is over on time. And for Silvermord, it's a pretty amazing game. 433,000 credits, 5,400 experience, Confederate, 3 close quarter experts, Dreadnought, Kraken Unleashed, high caliber, 180,000 damage, got some torpedoes in on that Colorado, a lot of gunshots off, 7 kills, well on his way to a second Kraken almost, and helped his team win. He went over to the one flank with a couple ships at the beginning, killed a destroyer, realized not a lot was over there, got back to the base to defend the one thing you can't afford to lose in this mode, and then just one by one eliminated targets as they came to him, and it all just started to stack up. No surprise then that he is top of the team there. 7 kills, 12 aircraft, easily beating out anyone else on his team for total XP, and you can see that enemy carrier right at the bottom, and that can suck as a carrier, but they threw their planes away. They flew them straight over top of Silvermord, and he wiped half of them out in a few seconds. As far as the damage goes, a good spread to a huge chunk of ships, but the biggest chunk of that 180,000 coming from the pretty much full health Colorado that he faced down. And that Colorado, knowing Silvermord was coming, should have turned to fight a running battle, because you're not going to win against a battleship with torpedoes at a 6-kilometer range. And even without a premium account, still took home 335,000 damage, or credits, and 5,400 XP. It would have been 8,000 with premium. Anyways, thank you very much, Silvermord, for sending this in. I loved watching it. I hope everyone else enjoyed this one. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up or subscribing to the channel. And as always, I'm Qckslvrslash. I'll have another one for you all later.